Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch and Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show. I am the Dude.
And I am Grim, and on this fine day we are going to be discussing The Blueprint by Jay-Z.
H.O.V.A. That's right. But before we get started, we just wanted to let all of you first-timers know that this is the podcast where we pick some of our favorite albums, we discuss the albums, and we discuss each track on the album. In detail. Isn't that right, Grim?
Oh, yeah. And the whole premise of it is there was a day before there was streaming services and everything was available at your fingertips, and you had things like a compact disc or a vinyl album. And in both cases, each of those formats led themselves to the ability to be scratched pretty easily. And sometimes it could be one of your favorite songs that was ruined. But we dare to ask the question, what if you could pick what song was to be scratched?
Her life is in your hands, dude.
Yeah, and it is. And the Scratch Attack podcast was born. And there it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Fuck the three of you. Yeah. So, with that,
today,
we would also appreciate it if you would go ahead and
like, subscribe, and comment below.
Yeah.
And now that you've done that, which is very easy to do, we promise. Like, we don't want you to strain like a pointer finger, but I'm sure you can figure out how to like, subscribe, and comment below.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, throughout the episode, we will ask questions because there's a bunch of stuff that we may not know that you guys have insight to, or give us your thoughts on stuff. So feel free to comment below.
Yeah. And definitely the idea is that it's a game and everyone plays. So what is your scratch and why? We would love to know. So without
Also
further... Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was going to say, also let us know your favorite songs.
Oh, yeah. Because
kind of skip over sometimes.
I know, and we need to be better about it because I try to remember to throw that in there, but we're going to this time. So without further ado, exactly. The Blueprint.
Yes.
By Jay-Z.
The Blueprint, 6th studio album by Jay-Z. And I did not know this until I started doing research.
Holy shit, I did not either.
Kind of a big day in U.S. history, and not because Jay-Z released The Blueprint, but September 11th, 2001.
Yeah.
And from what I read, I'm not saying this lightly by any means, like that event did not affect sales like on that day. It sold, I think, very, very well. I think it was a highly anticipated album. And I believe I read that they actually released it either a week early, or they kind of had like a sort of a floating date out there, and then they decided to release it early because they were afraid it would be leaked through bootleggers. So I'm not sure
I read
it was like a
about
surprise drop or what. I don't know if it was a surprise or they kind of moved it up. But so if you guys know, let us know.
Yeah, please do. And so it was interesting because in that first week, usually I'm not the numbers guy, but just looking at it, I mean, in light of the attacks, which were a monumental and awful event in U.S. history.
The world stopped.
yeah, for sure. It still sold almost 500,000 copies in its opening week, which that's crazy. That's pretty impressive. And then I guess in 2019, it was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Recording Registry. For being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant, which I would agree it is.
Dude, that is a tremendous honor. That is a tremendous honor. And I want to get a list. I'm sure there is a list.
Oh, I know.
Of all the records and albums that have been introduced or selected.
Side episode right there.
It's got to be pretty good. Yeah.
I'm hoping it's better than Rolling Stone's Top 500.
I am too. I will say this, though. So with their top 500, this album, in their top 500 of 2003, this album was ranked 464th.
Too low.
In 2012, it was ranked at 252.
Okay.
And then in this most recent issue in 2020, it was ranked 50th. So it has been making a significant jump in each one. So in 10 years, when they come out with a new one, it's easily going to be top 5, right? I mean,
yeah. And, you know, with to be fair, just in the context of everything that's come out and what I would call like popular or rock and roll music, don't know that I'd put it top 5 or top 10, but I will say it is one of and I don't claim to be like the biggest hip hop rap fan in history, so please don't take this as me coming at it from that vantage point. But I will say that in terms of rap hip hop albums that I've listened to, which has been a fair amount, I would put this very high up there. There's few albums that to me don't have like something weird or something where I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, I can easily skip that. To me, this isn't an easily skippable album by any means. And I think it was
very authentic.
Yeah, and sure.
I feel like it's very authentic.
And I think it was actually Stauffer who got me really going. I mean, it was after listening to the Gray album where I was like, okay, I actually want to listen to like Jay-Z's stuff, not just the Gray album. And this was, I think, the one that Stauffer recommended. And dude, right on, Stauffer, because this was a great recommendation.
Do you prefer this one over the Black album? Because I know we've also discussed we prefer the Gray album over the Black album, except for maybe one or two songs. But then, but you put this over the Black album?
Oh, easily.
Okay.
Not the Gray album, but the Black album for sure.
Not the Gray. Yes, definitely.
Go on.
Good. I was gonna say I heard that it was, and maybe we can talk about this a little more in depth. But dude, he recorded this in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he wrote the lyrics for it in 2 days. And with the number of producers on the album, I think that probably made it feasible, because I imagine those producers kind of came in with their own thoughts and ideas and sort of beats and structures for songs, wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know how that working relationship goes.
I think it's kind of different because unless you have someone like, there's a couple examples, one of which I believe we'll be covering later this year that I can think of, and that's Deltron 3030. And I believe in that album, Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, worked exclusively with Dan the Automator as his producer. But in a lot of rap albums, I don't think people necessarily do that. And even in, I think, a lot of Jay-Z's albums, like, there's so many different people that he draws from that make really good beats. I mean, Kanye made really good beats for him. Timbaland, Just Blaze.
Bink. Trackmasters.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy who did DJ Premier. DJ Premier did one of my favorite songs for him.
Sweet.
But I think when you work with these guys, it's like you draw from, like, they make the beats and maybe made that beat before they even knew Jay-Z was making an album. I don't know. This is purely speculation, but you know, they make beats and they play it for an MC and they're like, I want this, and they go over it.
Right.
And there you go.
It would be really cool to kind of find out sort of a little more behind the scenes of the production and the collaborations that they work with, because I'm sure you know from doing the research that Eminem was also the only one who was even a solo, like he was the solo guest feature. Now, typically on a lot of the rap albums I listen to, there's multiple guests and multiple, featuring this artist and this artist. Sometimes it's up and coming people, sometimes it's established people.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess there really isn't a whole lot of other. Yeah,
he's the only one
of other people on it. Yeah, that's interesting because
obviously there's backing vocals and stuff like that, but in harmonies and things that they do and do creatively. But as far as anyone who actually raps on the album, it is that one. Renegade that Eminem is on. Everything else is it's all Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's interesting because, like, on his, I want to say, but let me confirm this so I don't get lambasted. Oh no. A couple albums back on Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, Volume 2.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the song Reservoir Dogs, and this is one thing that to me was interesting. So I want to start to talk about the beefs because that was a kind of an important part in the context of this album. So like, if you go back to Hard Knock Life, dude, the song Reservoir Dogs, which is, I think, one of his best songs ever. One of some of the hottest verses I've heard by him. But anyways, like it has the Locks, and the Locks now consists of a few rappers, one of them being Jadakiss. Ooh. So we get to 2001, and it is specifically stated that like the Takeover, which, I mean, we'll get into this song, but just in terms of like this whole business, dude, the Takeover was like he dissed anyone who had kind of come at him, which included at the time Nas, Prodigy, who's from Mobb Deep, and Jadakiss.
Not the band Prodigy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have anything against him on the Fat of the Land album. That is their landmark. Okay. But
okay, good.
Yeah. So, anyways, he throws out some serious disses, but it's weird because, dude, Jadakiss was on a verse a couple albums before, and I know about, and we can talk a little bit about like the beef between him and Nas, but I guess I didn't realize there was also one with Jadakiss.
Interesting.
Who knew?
Well, there's one song, and it escapes me now at the moment. Oh, it's on the song "All I Need," and we'll get to this a little bit, but we're talking a little bit about beef, where Jay-Z says a line: "All I need in this world is sin is me and my girlfriend."
Yeah, dude, right from Tupac.
Tupac line, yeah, from his Machiavelli album.
Yeah,
"Me and my girlfriend." Now, the interesting thing is, if you listen to the beginning of the Machiavelli album, it starts off and it's kind of like this sort of fake news report.
Yeah, no, I've
guy
heard
talking, and he talks about Jay-Z and all these other corny sounding motherfuckers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it seems like I forget what year Machiavelli was. I mean, it came out, I think, the same year that Tupac passed away. So even then, Jay-Z must have been a young pup back then, right? Like a real young rapper coming up.
Dude, actually, holy shit, Machiavelli, the Don Illuminati 7-Day Theory.
7-Day Theory.
Came out November 5th, 1996. So that would have been the time, I want to say, for Jay-Z of like, what's the first one?
Reasonable Doubt?
Reasonable Doubt, yeah. When was, yeah.
Yep, 96. It's Reasonable Doubt was 96 here. So it looks like, I mean, and of course there was the East Coast, West Coast, but even, Tupac's got some great lines in that song. It's not about East Coast and West Coast. It's about bitches and shit and powers and money, It's just like, okay, all right. Classic Tupac of, in his aggression. But I did find that interesting that he kind of referenced that in that song in one of his songs, even though it's from an album where Tupac is kind of talking shit against him. I don't know if they ever made up, or I don't know if they had time to do that, or where they stand, but
probably not.
Or what? Yeah, probably not.
But dude, the Nas beef, the Jay-Z and Nas beef now went on for years, and I think
still going. I have no idea.
No, I think it was squashed when there was a song that I think they released on one of Jay-Z's albums. Maybe it was Nas's album where they rapped together called Black Republicans. And I believe, and it was kind of squashed, but I think it goes all the way back to like Reasonable Doubt, where, dude, Jay-Z sampled from Nas's song "The World Is Yours." I'm out for presidents to represent me in his song "Dead Presidents 2."
Yeah. Right. Okay. I see that.
And then it just goes on. And so, dude, the Takeover was just a straight up hardcore diss. And then after that, Nas released a song called Ether on Stillmatic. And I think the Takeover and Stillmatic are regarded, or Stillmatic, the Takeover and Ether off of Stillmatic are kind of regarded as like the really headbutting moments of this beef. as far as I know.
this.
And I'm not a historian, but as far as I know.
It's like that scene in Rocky IV when they have the USA glove and the Soviet Union Russian glove, like boom, and then there's just like this big explosion.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Now that we've established that. I don't know.
But
I
with
think we might
two
be able to
East Coast
get
rappers
into
in this at this point.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I also do want to note that I mean, this does have some great producers on it, and like I said, it was recorded in 2 weeks. Also, though, like during the recording of this, Jay-Z was awaiting 2 criminal trials, one for gun possession and one for assault. And I don't know if you know about anything about gun possession in New York, but you can't have a gun in New York. Like it is not good.
Not
like
good.
You just go to jail. It's not about like firing it or anything, or like I have a permit. Like it's not a good thing. As Plexico Burris did not work out too well for him. So, should we get into the tracks, my friend?
Yeah. One quick thing I want to mention before we do that is the cover photograph, right? So, apparently it was inspired by The Firm.
Not the movie.
No, it sounds like it was
the Tom Clancy novel.
Yeah.
John Grisham. No, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
But
Tom
anyways,
Clancy's Clear Present Danger.
Instead of the telephone and brass knuckles seen next to the ashtray in the original picture, a cigar and a pack of cigars and a microphone were placed.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, but I think it would have been pretty badass if he had the mic, the cigars, then the brass knuckles, then the ashtray. But anyways, it reminds me of there was this like Simon and Garfunkel album that was released like a while back.
And they had fucking cigars and brass knuckles on their cover.
Not exactly. But here's the thing. They're in the studio, right? And they're like sitting there on the floor and Paul Simon's like this because he had a smoke. You know? Like he had a cigarette. Dude, at some point they took the cigarette out and they're like, oh yeah, a lot of people just sit there like this. Like,
peace.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you can't do it. Like, dude,
it's like,
it's troubling how far people go with smoke. I mean, dude, it's like it might as well be doing heroin to some.
Yeah.
But let's get into the tracks,
which we don't condone. But
no, but smoking's okay.
But be authentic.
Yeah,
be authentic.
Yeah.
So, track number 1, "The Ruler Is Back." The Ruler's back. Dude, just the opening intro of those like little bongos or whatever.
Yeah.
The way it kind of fades in, I'm just like, oh.
And I kind of like how it goes.
Yeah.
And like laughs with the rhythm. I don't know. There's just. Yeah.
But dude, the way that piano hits is really, really cool. And it sounds like, I don't know, is it just a piano when that it's dun dun dun? Like, is that just a piano? It sounds like there's something layered on top of it.
There probably is, to be honest.
A bunch of things.
Yeah, because it's I'm assuming that's a sample of the song "If" by Jackie Moore.
Okay.
But one thing I wish I would have done, and I'm sorry to everyone. I'm sorry that I didn't. Was to listen to all the samples, because quite frankly, I really enjoy hearing like the samples that these songs are based upon. And there is a video out there of somebody breaking down how DJ Premier sampled from for the Jay-Z song "A Million One Questions."
Sweet.
Off of I think that's volume 2 or volume 1. But anyways, I like seeing that kind of stuff because it helps you like understand where the basis for everything came from. But I unfortunately didn't listen to it. So I'm going to assume that is from "If." And I will also assume that it's probably more than piano. You probably got like a piano, kick drum, and bass all hitting those, those main notes, to really...
Right, at the same time. Yeah, I listened to some of the sample tracks. I didn't listen to all of them. But this is a great intro track, and even what he kind of says, especially, I'm not going to call this any sort of a concept album, but it's a great intro track for kind of like what he's going to do. He's like, oh, I just want to thank everybody for my purchase. Really appreciate it. What you're about to witness is just my thoughts.
Just my thoughts. Yeah.
Right or wrong.
Yep.
And he's very, like I said, this is a very authentic album. And I think what he raps about is, like he says, it's just what I'm feeling at the time. And that's exactly what it is. And I think there's just some really good lines. And, obviously, I mean, he's a different rapper. There's certain rappers that I think like to really come in hard and be aggressive. There's certain rappers that like to be very fast in how they're speaking and how they're rapping. For him, and they allude to this a lot, for him, it's all about the flow. And,
yes,
and he is just
his voice
really
is smooth.
Good flow.
Dude, yeah.
That smooth flow.
Dude, just like he says, I'm too sexy for jail, like I'm right said Fred.
Right said Fred.
I'm not guilty now. Give me back my bread.
Yeah. But I do love one of the lines in this song. It's like, I'm representing for the seat where Rosa Parks sat, where Malcolm X was shot, where Martin Luther was popped. So off we go, let the trumpets blow. And then I forget, there's a line like right after that. But then, it's the let the trumpets blow. But then you hear the trumpets coming.
Yeah.
It's just like such a nice, such a cool little touch. But basically, this song is like, hey, here I am again, my friend. Parentheses, I'm back.
Dude,
and I'm here to reclaim the throne.
Well, and what I like about it is there's a lot of like rap music that is kind of for more or less like people talking about themselves, right? But I feel like this does it in more of an autobiographical way as opposed to like, I'm really awesome and everyone else. I mean, there's some of that, but still, it's done in a way that I think is just more like relatable because it's like this is me, this is my story. And
yeah, it is autobiographical. He does tell those little stories and snippets of stories and events, and you can just tell that it comes from an authentic, true place for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we move on to the Takeover? Grant?
Yeah, and I wanted to bridge us in talking about samples because if there's a sample I know really well, dude, it's fucking 5 to 1 by the Doors, which Kanye West did an awesome job of sampling this.
Well, in that beat and kind of what they, I think it's a little. They've done a little bit to it to make it rougher, but it's so harsh and so dirty, man.
I don't know how much they really did. I mean, they added some beats to it, but the song always had this grit.
Oh,
and I mean,
that grittiness.
And when you sample based on what the song's talking about, and then your sample is gonna win, yeah, we're taking over, come on. I mean, that's...
Well, dude, you get Morrison.
What else do you need to say?
You get his gritty vocals in that, and he one thing that he does as a vocalist so well is just he's able to have that kind of that deep roaring scream, without his voice cracking. And,
Morrison,
and even if it does, Morrison, during on the sample, but yeah, they definitely do. He talks some mad shit about Nas in this one. He really does. It references songs and albums, and went from Nasty Nas to Esco's Trash.
Yeah,
had a spark when you started, but now you're just garbage. Fell out of the top 10 to
not mentioned at all.
Not mentioned at all. Yeah, yeah.
But dude,
I sampled your voice. You were using it wrong. You made it a hot line. I made it a hot song. Basically, I took the little bit you did, and I just made it better.
Yeah, but the one thing that I do like is that in all the disses of Nas, he still knows he can't fuck with Illmatic. Because he's like, one was the other was Illmatic. And dude, that is
10, let's say 10 years.
That will be done on this show in the future because it is easily one of the best rap records that's ever been made. Illmatic, no question. But I love it. And I love the how he almost makes it like the song Fame with those vocal samples, but it's like awkward.
Fame, lame.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of say they gave credit, or at least in
yeah, they just kind of mentioned it like it was
I don't think there should be a lawsuit if that was ever going to be a question.
No.
Yeah.
But
or should royalties be paid? Definitely.
Yeah.
Not. They don't. David Bowie's estate does not have the rights to the word fame. So.
Yeah, I feel like.
But the way they sing it, the way they sing it, it's pretty cool. You want to move on to Izzo?
Yeah.
H.O.V.A.
Sampling the Jackson 5 on this one. Mm-hmm. Now this brings me to a thought about not only this record but a lot of Jay-Z stuff. Like there was a record I saw before I was really like buying a lot of vinyl that I wish I would have bought because I wish I had it now, and it is basically a whole record of songs that Jay-Z sampled.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, and it tells you
a hell of a compilation,
dude. I know, and it tells you, like obviously, if you couldn't figure it out, it tells you where they were, what songs they were used in, and I just think that's a really cool idea for a record.
Absolutely, in my opinion. Definitely.
Anyways,
very cool idea. Yeah. Well, I actually had to look up, but like Jehovah is like the shortened word for Jehovah. The Hebrew word for God. And I guess because Jay-Z calls himself the God of rap. And I was like, well, it is maybe slightly blasphemous. I don't know if we want to get too deep into that. But.
You need to listen to off of In My Lifetime Volume 1, dude, that first track. But there's a alternate version, like the alternate version by
the Girls.
By DJ Premier. And what does he say? He's like, they call me Jehovah because the flow is religious. Like, that is such a good line. I mean,
dude, that is a good line.
Yeah. And that was way before this album.
Fair. That is fair.
And ever since I've been 16, I've been holding digits.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Some people might frown on that. I'm not one of them, but
No, but dude, that line, they call me Jehovah because the flow's religious. That's a middle finger. It's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways. I feel like this is one of the maybe catchier. Popular tracks on the album. Made H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy, but there's some other things that are said probably that I shouldn't say. But one of my favorite lines is, I beat them charges like Rocky.
Yeah, I was just looking at that one.
Dude, the female vocals on this track are also really good. On this album, they really, some of the background vocals and harmonies, the female vocals that they put in they're excellent. And I really like that they add that to this album. It does give a nice contrast and dynamic, especially when he's really, other than the Eminem song, the only one rapping on the album.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you do hear other voices with, obviously with Morrison for the 5-1, but it's.
I know it's
in a
different
context. Yeah, different context. So it's nice to have that contrast.
Now, girls. Next, right? Girls. Now, a lot of times these aren't my favorite, I guess, type of songs on a rap album because it's just kind of cliche, but there's a lot of things that he says on this song that are kind of humorous in the context of the song. We can't say them on the show because they're not what I would call like okay now, but just like an amazing use in not even giving a shit about like stereotypes. And a lot of stuff. But I think because he uses like an old soul sample, I think that helps move the song for me.
Yeah, it does. The song does move along, and it sort of comes back at the end of the album too. Or at least a different version. We'll talk about that a little bit, but dude, I'm sure Beyonce loves this song, right?
Well, this is prior to that, though.
It is,
but I'm sure.
You can't blame me for shit I did in the past.
Yeah, it's probably not our favorite though, but understood. But we'll get into the other part later.
Mm-hmm. But he does cover a variety of races and cultures
Yes.
as it regards
Yes,
to
he
women.
does.
I think, I mean, the majority that I could think of. So yeah, I would just say, we won't get too in depth into that, but
check it out on your own.
Feel inspired, or maybe the words, and let us know. Would that? I would be curious to know if people today find that more offensive than maybe they did in 2001 when this came out.
Well, dude, you know how it is. Some people would find it funny, and other people's would go through the roof. I mean, just kind of. But anyways, now speaking of like going through the roof, and song 5 is Jigga That Person.
Nice Guy.
And
I like Nice Guy.
Yeah, Nice Guy is also good.
Yep. Yeah, dude, this one's got I guess you could say, I mean, you wouldn't say it's featuring those female voices, but they are singing that repetitive.
Oh yeah.
Again, we can't fully say that, but he's got. I do like some of his words, like gnarly dude. I puff Bob Marley dude. Like all day, like Rastafaris do.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck to the point I could hardly move, and man, I think we've all been there.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But yeah, he does have some really good lyrics on this song.
ROC something. Yeah. This is a tough one to get in depth on for a couple of reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, what does he say? Never seen 22s on the 6 before. I'm killing them out here. They need first aid because the boy got more 6s than first grade. I think there's a lot of stuff that he does that is just clever. He does. It's just a clever use of words.
He's got some good tie-ins. He's like the sort of like the rap version of Isaac Brock. When you say like,
wow,
good plays.
Even when those background vocals were just like,
I went there.
Yeah,
I went there.
Yeah.
Number 6, You Don't Know.
The one thing that's weird about You Don't Know that rap does a lot of times is they have like the Alvin and the Chipmunk sample. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the thing that I love is the guy in the background who's singing he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is sweet.
It's like the extended vocal scream. It's very cool. But dude, the song, and I was trying to think, like, I guess, I don't know if it's, I mean, I imagine some sort of synth or organ or whatever, but it has like the way they hit it, it has this like kind of tribal beat feel to it. Mm-hmm. Like I guess, I don't know, Native American sort of kind of
sure.
Chant, or I don't even know.
Well, and now that part I don't know, but I know that it's on a sample from a song by Bobby Bird. And one thing, without looking it up, that I knew is if you listen to enough James Brown, he talks about like the other guys in his band, and he'll always be yelling out to Bird. And Bobby Bird was one of these guys that played with James Brown for a long time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this song has one of my favorite lyrics, and I know I mentioned this to you the other day. Is I sell ice in the winter, I sell fire in hell. I'm a hustler, baby. I sell water to a well. I mean, dude, I'm sorry, man. That is unbelievably poetic. Dude, it's so good, man.
It is good.
He has got some phenomenal lines.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Ready to say Hola Hovito?
I am. One thing I've liked about Jay-Z throughout, or at least in this early period, he kind of throws in like Spanish in there every now and again, and might bend the words a little bit. Like there was a song earlier where he says "Vamos, son of a bitch," instead of "Vámonos."
Oh yeah.
But I like how he kind of plays with Spanish sometimes. And this song, he does it a lot. But I like Timbaland's beat because it has that dring, dring, dring that reminds me of almost like a harp or something.
Sure.
It's just a really, really good beat. And it sounds... I don't know. It sounds pretty perfect.
Hola Hovito. Dude, this also has some of my favorite lyrics. One thing I love is some people may or may not know, but Jay-Z is a huge basketball fan, and at one time he was part owner of the Brooklyn Nets.
I knew that.
I don't know if he still is, but I know he was at one point. But one of my best lines is, I ball for real, y'all. We'll just say guys. Is Sam Bowie, and with the third pick, I made the Earthsick MJ.
Fade away, perfect.
Yeah. And basically, what he's referring to is obviously is Michael Jordan was the third pick in the 1984 NBA draft. He was drafted third behind number one. Akeem Olajuwon was taken first, and then Sam Bowie was taken by the Portland Trailblazers. Now, Sam Bowie did not have the career that Akeem Olajuwon or Michael Jordan had, mainly because of injury. I'm coming out of college, dude. He was like, boom. He was top rated player, but I think he had really, really bad ankle problems, and then he just couldn't stay healthy. Jeez. And it's tough, man, when you get drafted ahead of like the best NBA player ever on the planet in the world, and it's tough to have that kind of stick. But if he stayed healthy, I think he would have been a good player.
Huh. Interesting.
Same Bowie. So, another great line though is, you shining, but the only thing you leaving out, you're a candle in the sun. That shit don't even out. It's like, I mean, dude, we all know some candles in the suns, don't we?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we do.
So, the heart of the city, Ain't No Love.
I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album, and I did do my homework on this one and listen to the Bobby Blue Bland.
Oh,
version,
really?
The sample, and it's much slower. I mean, they sped it up for this track, which I'm glad they did, but it is much slower than the original.
Yeah, they do that stuff a lot, and that's why I recommended that video earlier about In My Lifetime to see how the samples are done. But those videos are really interesting because it's like they'll play the whole part of the song, right? And then they'll then they'll be like they'll find the spot that they took out, and they'll speed it up or they'll slow it down, or they do whatever they have to do to fit it in. And it's just fascinating to me because it's like it's a different way of like making music. It's like reassembling in a new way, and it's really cool to watch, I think. But anyways.
Well, and I think we talked about that during our episode on the Gray album. He had to do that in a few of the songs.
I think just like to make it work.
His While My Guitar Gently
slower.
Weeps one. It's
slower. For sure.
But this is definitely one of my favorite songs.
Heart of the City
on the yeah.
I like how he talks about like the bands breaking up and the artists kind of falling apart, like. And the Fugees going to break up, and Richard Pryor's going to burn up. And now I wake up to more bullshit.
Yeah. I told you in 96 that I came to take this shit, and I did. I handle my biz. I scramble like Randall with his Cunningham. But the only thing that's running is numbers. Bam. Ain't no love. It's...
now that's a football reference, not a...
It is. It is a football reference. It's probably talking more about Randall Cunningham when he was on the Eagles as opposed to the Vikings, but who's to say? I'm not gonna.
Oh, I figured that. That's when he was like,
he was the man.
Yeah.
For his time and place, he was like in the NFL quarterback club. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Him, Bernie Kosar, Boomer Esiason, Dan Marino. Yeah, I keep going.
Bernie Kosar. Yeah.
Bernie Kosar. Never change. Just never change.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the best soul samples used in the album. I mean, it's
totally,
yeah,
it is.
Common Man performed by David Ruffin. Now that's one that again I wish I would have done more homework and listened to. If I would have got the goddamn record, I'd probably fucking know it, but I didn't.
You probably would. Yeah. Really, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes it rains. But this song definitely, after I think the album really is picked up, this song definitely kind of slows it back down.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has a little bit of a somber feeling, but dude. So again, some other great
I'm
lyrics.
Still fucking with crime because crime pays, dude. That's awesome. Yeah,
dude. We knee deep in coke. We keep deep in ice. We flood streets with dope. We keep weed to smoke. I mean, fuck.
It's good lyrics. I like it.
Yeah, I'm like a dog. I never speak, but I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some good lines there. Move on to Song Cry. Again, another sort of slower chill song that has a nice beat to it. But it kind of gets good. It has a sentimental
It's
feeling.
kind of sad. I feel like he uses, I believe, the actual word divorce in the song. And I didn't look up his personal history to see if he had been married and divorced, but this really sounds like, like that sort of a situation.
Yeah, and if it wasn't, I'm sure it was a very serious relationship. That seems. But one thing about it though is I feel like he kind of admits some of his faults too.
Yes, absolutely.
Like he was fooling around. He was like, I was just fucking them girls. I was gonna get right back.
Yeah, but it's funny because you say that. I'm sure she was like, oh, well, you should have said something. Like in that case, we're cool.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, my friend. But
yeah.
He's still married to Beyonce, so I'm sure he's not sweating it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Never mind that incident with Rihanna. But
what do you say? You got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain. My name is H.O.V.A. All I Need. Now, I do like in the beginning where he's talking about like Nike Airs, check. Couple, what is this? Something, couple of ducats. I gotta look at the lyrics.
By my side, let's ride. Well, dude, I thought we were gonna do a little songs of the same name here.
Armandale in the club, couple of ducats. All I Need. Oh,
the Radiohead, the Air, right?
Why the fuck didn't we put this on there?
Because, we dropped the ball. We blew it.
Scratch the episode. That never happened. We're doing it again. I'm still going to probably pick my pick, but this should be discussed too.
Dude, it's a good song, man.
I know. I like it. And I like how he references Mickey and Mallory. Like
Mickey and
Natural Born Killers.
He does. He also references Dikembe Mutombo, right?
Yeah, he does. Just
whoever got hops get blocked, go to the whole Dikembe Mutombo of this rap shit.
Yeah, dude, just like hanging around waiting for jam session to start.
That's right. Exactly.
Now, Renegade. So here's the tie-in, right? So we talked about Eminem with the song Godzilla, and he's the only other MC really featured
Marshall
on
Mathers.
Here.
Yeah. Yes.
This is not necessarily my favorite song, but like I do think that both of them do a good job rapping. What I don't like is when they're like Renegade. It's like it's like pushed so hard. But I don't think that the lyrics are bad at all, because I think that they're pretty poignant for rappers, because it's like they get chastised for all this stuff and they're like, I said what I said. Yeah.
So what I said. Well, to me, this is the most, I feel like, kind of stripped down and underproduced song on the album.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I believe, did Eminem produce it as well? I think he did, if I don't have it right in front of me. But I mean, obviously he's on it. And basically, they just kind of trade vocal parts back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes, and it says Eminem and Luis Resto produced this song. Interesting. Well, this is interesting. It says producers Eminem and Luis Resto, but under writers Carter, Marshall Mathers, and Luis Resto. So I wonder if Eminem gets like different royalties depending on what name he's using or something.
Dude, that sounds crazy, but with how fucked up the music business is, I would not be surprised at all, because, dude, where the money's at, I guess, is publishing royalties. That's where the fucking money is. And
I bet I wonder if he'd be able to reduce his total income by, like, it's like, oh, this is Eminem money, this is Marshall Mathers money.
Yeah, true.
Yep. So
can't say I blame him. I mean, yeah.
Sure,
The
he's getting
IRS
taxed
is
like
going to fuck
50%.
you. I mean, you got to get them back. Now,
Exactly.
the last track on the album. Now, kind of, but here's the thing. As I'm looking at this CD, I had the CD version, and I'm showing you. And I don't know if you can see on here, but there are only 13 songs with Blueprint Mama Loves Me being the last. Those other two, although when I stream this, they were their own tracks, they are most certainly hidden tracks in the way that the album originally came out. That I can say.
Right, yeah, because the original version that I had in my iTunes is probably off the CD that you have.
Yeah, and it's like 10 or 11, 12 minutes long.
12 minutes, it is.
Yeah.
But when I downloaded looked at it and downloaded, they kind of chop off the the section where there's just like nothing for a bit, and they break it up into 3 tracks. So
which
I don't know if we can treat it as 3 separate or.
I mean, I'd listen to it all anyways.
Yeah.
Now, I like Mama Loves Me because there's one part in there where he talks about how he would make the beats with just like pounding on the table.
What? The table. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really cool to bring it back. But for me, the highlight of this is the lyrical exercise. I love the sample. Like, to me, that sample is everything I would love about a rap sample, because it's like piano and it's stuff you wouldn't associate with rap, but when you throw a beat into it, like it takes on a whole nother life, and I think it's sweet.
Well, I think it's really cool. He kind of, in a positive way, he calls out and honors sort of all the people throughout his life who was influential and helped him. Even, the people who helped him in such a small way, like you helped him get dressed and you fed me and you did this and you did this. And not just his mother either. Like, it seems like other family members.
He talks about his brother. He's like, what is he? I forget his brother's name, but he was like, he was fly. He used to steal his gear. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. And, I think it's just a bunch of friends of the family and things like that. So I thought it was cool. Like, hey, on the final track, I'm just going to kind of give you all a shout out and everything.
I think cool. That's really cool too, because I don't know. I can't say that I hear that in a lot of rock music.
No, definitely not.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about like, man, thank God for like my brother and sister and my mom and my uncle and aunt. Like, they're just, a lot of it's just about stupid shit.
Pretty much, like who's in the bunker? Who's in the bunker? Like, women. No, just kidding.
I wasn't talking Radiohead here. It was more like an AC/DC stab. Anyways, I like that he does that. I think that's really cool. And he does that in a lot of albums, dude. Like on my first song, he's calling out a lot of people too.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does, doesn't he? Yeah. Gosh.
OG Wong, I was a little upset that you weren't involved with this, but it's all good.
That is cool. That is cool. Well, and he even includes his mom on her voice and what. Yeah. Sean was a very shy child growing up.
And that's cool, man.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. I think, let's talk about the hidden tracks.
How to ride a bike.
Let's talk about the hidden tracks real quick. There's the Breathe Easy.
Dude, the lyrical. I've already talked about the lyrical exercise. Like the sample is everything I want in a rap song. It's awesome.
I'm the all-time heavyweight champion of flowers.
Yeah.
Leading the league in 6 statistical categories.
Best flow, realest stories. Yeah, I like that, realest stories. That's funny. And my interviews are hotter. Holla.
Yeah. And my interviews are hotter. And then we go to I will say this, man. We go to Girls, Girls, Girls part 2. I like this Girls, Girls, Girls better than the non-hidden one. I really do. I feel like it has, maybe it's a little, the tempo is a little faster, but his flow and his cadence in it. And I think the background vocals are actually much better on this song. I really do like it.
I do like this sample. I'm trying girls out. Like that. It's a good sample.
Yeah, it is. So
here we are.
So grim. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I had to be on the tee last time.
I think you did. Well, I think I know which one you're going to scratch anyway. So, all right. So I am actually going to, there's some just great songs on this album, but one that just I could skip is actually Song Cry. I do like that it is a slower song. It's a little more emotional and sentimental. At the same time, and I just think after Never Change, which is also kind of slower, to have another slower one, I just
even slower.
Even slower.
Yeah.
Even slower. Even flow. So yeah, that's one that I kind of skip, and I do like All I Need. So if I need to skip to get to that one, I'll get to that one. So. All right,
we're not going to overtime, dude.
No, we're not, because I knew what you were going to scratch.
Yeah, the Renegade. I kind of gave it away when we were talking about it, but I think I could like it more if Eminem didn't so fiercely over embellish the Renegade. I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it. And I see your point about Song Cry. Had we gone into overtime, that would have definitely been my overtime pick. But we didn't.
Good to know. No. Yeah, I mean, with Renegade, to me, I like that this album is basically all Jay-Z.
Yeah, I do too.
And
I think it's sweet.
I think there's something really cool about that. And I guess I just didn't see a need. To me, this song doesn't add anything to the album.
Agreed.
And I believe the copy that I actually had was the copy that I got from you, like way back in college. And I think you were
fucking
probably
deleted it.
You're like, yeah. And so for years, I'd just been listening to this album without that song on it.
Dude, I scratched this track before we ever even conceived the game.
The game. You did. You did.
What's your favorite song on the album, though? That's important.
That's Heart of the City.
Ooh.
Heart of the Ain't No Love. Heart of the City. Yeah. Dude, it's just fast and I just has such a good flow and rhythm to it, man. I really do. That's my song. Like if I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna put on one song from Blueprint, it's that one.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, if we're listening to it on a streaming format, I'm always gonna go with Lyrical Exercise.
Okay.
But if we were listening to it on this here compact disc with only 13 tracks, dude, I'm going the Takeover. I think it's so... Come on! And you're right. They do a little something. It's just a little nastier. And I fucking love every part of that.
Well, it's such a great... Robbie Krieger's riff in that is so...
Yeah. Well, and just... I mean, it works so well. The beat just... Damn, dude. And this was at a point where I heard it after I had heard the Gray album. So, like, at this point, I wasn't in this mindset of, like, dude, you can't sample a classic rock song. Now, I still hate the fucking one that Puff Daddy did with Led Zeppelin.
Kashmir. Yeah.
But sorry, like, Jay-Z's in a different fucking category. So, like, he can do that.
Sorry.
In my opinion. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. No, sorry. So with
IMHO.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that officially scratches Blueprint by Mr. H.O.V.A. Everyone, please let us know your scratch below. Please feel to agree.
And dude, you got it. Yeah, please do. And dude, when we sign out, you got to do the rock. So that's our freaking thumbnail.
It's the rock.
You got to do it. Dude, it's the rock.
It's the rock. Okay. All right. It is the rock. It is time to go.
The rock. Dude and Grim Show.
The Dude and Grim Show. H.O.V.A.
It's the rock. Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by Moore and the Tims. Copyright 2021. The Dude and Grim Show.